Hello and welcome to another episode of docrafts TV. Today we're joined by the lovely Becky James, who's going to show us how to make some die-cut frames using the Xcut extra large dies. Hi Becky.
Hi Katie.
Welcome along.
Lovely to be here.
What are we going to do today?
Well, today I'm going to show you how to use a couple of ways really that you can use these lovely new Xcut extra large nesting dies.
Okay.
And on here we've created frames and apertures, so I'm going to work you through that really.
Now they're pretty exciting, aren't they? The extra large dies.
They are.
We've got the parenthesis ones here,
Yeah,
and they're not all in the pack.
No, they're not.
Some bigger ones.
I've got some bigger ones that we're going to be using. They're already out the pack.
But they're pretty fantastic, aren't they? They'd be really good for like a big, massive focal point for a scrapbook page, and obviously they go right down to the little ones as well, so you can create sort of graduated shapes as you go.
That's it. Also great for things like making shaped card blanks out of larger cards and things like that. So
previously we've been tied, haven't we, to making just them about sort of yay big,
yes,
haven't we?
That's it.
The extra ones are really good to have. Brilliant. Right, what's first?
Right, so first thing I'm going to do is I've got the Xcut Express machine here.
Fab.
It's already raring to go. What I've done is I've put a magnetic shim on here because when you're cutting frames, that's going to make life much, much easier.
Okay.
And I've actually lined them up so that the corners here, well, the corner bits of the parenthesis are actually lined up together, and that's how I know that it's centre.
Yeah.
I am just using the backs of things like our Paper Mania design stacks and things like that. Nothing goes to waste in my craft room. Now, because I've got cards here, I am actually going to use the metal shim so that it's got something extra sort of sturdy and hard to bite up against. So we're going to put that on there, and I'm going to put the normal cutting mat on the top of it as well. So because of this, one thing obviously that is great about the Xcut Express machine is I've got a fairly weighty sandwich there, and I can move my roller up and down.
Perfect.
So when you're doing anything like this, have a little experiment with perhaps a smaller piece of card or a bit of scrap, so that you can find what is the perfect setting, and then you can just go from there.
Okay.
There we go. And hopefully I should be able to remove that, and we'll see that it's cut through.
Perfect.
But that's really, really how easy it is to cut your frames. But what I'm going to do is show you how to make sure that the apertures, because on the design we've obviously got these smaller apertures, a bit like the really fashionable frames that there are at the moment, with the different shapes and sizes. So what I need in the centre of this is actually the smaller frame that I'm using, because I need to make sure that everything fits inside this frame here, which is slightly smaller because I've got two layered frames before the apertures.
Got ya.
So I know that that is this die here, which is 2 sizes down again from the die I used to start off with. Now if I layer that up in the centre, and we did say, didn't we, earlier on, we're going to take a picture of this combination so you can see it yourself on the website.
Absolutely, so you can see exactly which bits we've used.
Exactly. And what I'm doing is I'm putting the rectangle and the square and the circle within that smaller frame. So
I see. So the layer we're cutting, if I sort of...
Yes. That's
let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Yeah. We're actually not going to cut that one, are we? I see.
What we're going to do is, now we know that those will sit within that central frame, and this is another reason why the magnetic shim is so good. I can just take that off,
because it's going to be very difficult to arrange them perfectly in the middle, isn't it, without that? I see. Very clever.
But there's that. Take those out. Oh, that one's already come out. And there you go. That is your aperture.
That's really good.
And that will go in the centre when you've got your pictures behind it.
Brilliant.
Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the frames that we've cut, and the top one and the centre one with the apertures in, and we're going to emboss them in this A4 embossing folder from Xcut. Now, lovely. I know from being out at demonstrations, everybody's loving these new folders because they allow you to emboss either the larger size cards on the front, or you can emboss back and front, but also your bigger shapes. So when you die cut these bigger shapes, they'll fit perfectly in here.
Okay.
And I have a little tip for you, because these folders are a little bit thicker than standard embossing folders. You need to put your setting on your Xcut Express to about 7.5, and then they'll go. And
because they're bigger as well, I guess it sort of takes up more space, doesn't it?
That's it. Now, what we've done is, and I will put on the instructions as well, the configurations of the dies that we've used.
Perfect.
But I've already prepared and distressed. I'm going to show you how to do this, and added this sort of gold pearlescence to the aperture, that's the centre aperture.
So the bits we've cut, so that's the one we cut earlier
that's
with the frames.
And then that one has been painted in linen.
Okay.
Artiste acrylic paint. I've done the centre frame, and again I'll tell you which dies in the instructions, and I've covered this in the lovely oyster blush capsule papers.
Isn't it? Wonderful pearlescent.
They've got a lovely pearlescent to them, and I've added a bit of ink around the edge again to add that sort of oldie worldy feel to it.
Lovely.
And then this one is the first frame that we cut.
Okay.
It's been embossed, and this one has been painted with sand artiste acrylic paint.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to add this oldie worldy feel to it, and because we've got that embossing on there as well, with the inks and the paint that we're going to use, it's going to pick up that embossing. Okay. So you've seen me do this before, I know, on videos, but I'm just going to pick up a bit of chocolate dye ink, Paper Mania ink, stamp pad foam, and I'm just going to blend that around the edges, and as you'll see very quickly, the reason I've used the different colours is because going from the darker, even if we're adding the ink, it's still going to be a darker base. Going from the darker inwards, you're adding depth to the project. But I also want to add that hint of pearlescence just to pick up the theme with the capsule papers. Yeah. So I'm going to show you a little dry brushing technique which does that as well. And that uses the titanium gold acrylic metallic paint in the Artiste range, which is it's a lovely, really deep gold. I love this one. So I'm just going to, you don't need a lot when you're doing this, so all you need is the tiniest little bit. You need a hard brush, not a soft one. Okay. And you need a piece of kitchen roll. And basically you really do, you brush off as much. You might think that you're taking all the paint off it, but you just brush off as much as you can. Okay. And then you start to just brush it on. And what I'm doing is I'm just going around where the detail is. And actually, again, we'll get a really nice close-up of this.
Well, I hope you can see that on camera, that's really picking up the light there.
Yeah.
So right, there we go.
So that's all now, all sort of aged down. It's got a lovely vintage feel to it. Beautiful. So what we're going to do now is put the frame together. This is really, really easy to do once you've got all your bits and pieces cut. Right, there we go. And just because I want to make sure this is placed properly, I'm just going to put a little layer of glue stick over the top there. Right.
And that's just to give you a little bit of wiggle room, isn't it?
It is just a little bit of wiggle. I like that. That's a good word. A little bit of wiggle room. So there
I'm all about the catchphrase today.
Yeah, you are, aren't you? Right, now then, next thing we're going to do is to put the ruffle around the outside. And I really want to show you how to do this because it is simple, but it's really worth having a quick nose at. And then we're going to talk a little bit about all the embellishments.
So which one is this?
This one is Madame Peyrot Pleated Trim. Yep. In the cream colour.
Beautiful.
So all we're going to do, and because we have a depth here, it's really, really, really easy. I'm just going to get my glue gun, and I'm going to, in that sort of depth where the frame is, I'm just going to run the glue. And where the centre stitching is on there, I'm going to basically feed that so that it sticks.
And you want to do a little bit at a time, don't you, I guess? Otherwise it's going to dry.
The glue will dry if you do. And so you just work your way around. So that is really how simple it is. And you just get to, when you get to the other end, you just overlap it a bit, glue it in place and trim off your excess. So that's how easy the whole main frame is. So just to talk a little bit about how we've decorated it. So I've pulled through the oyster blush papers really and embellishments with this. But I gathered together really a whole host of die-cut die-cut leaves using the Xcut leaf set. Now this is one of my must-haves in my die-cutting set. It comes out so much. And
this is really good for Christmas and spring and autumn because you've got holly and one that looks like mistletoe, which I think is probably hiding behind. Oh, there he is. Yeah, they're just really good for everything, aren't
they? I haven't come across a project where I've wanted a leaf of some description and there isn't one in here that I can use, so really, really good. Then we've got here these are the lovely pinwheels, which I adore these. I have to say I inked around the edge a little bit, but this time I didn't take, because in the previous video I've taken the centres out and then added other extra bits to them. Didn't this time, left it as it was.
It's a lovely matte button, that isn't it?
It is.
Sometimes
it's really nice.
Are a bit sort of shiny, and that's great sometimes. But these are sort of lovely, aren't they?
And nicely complements the fact that these have got the pearlescence on them, so that works really well. And then I've added my date here, and that's using our favourite Madame Peyraud alphabet stickers. But there are some numbers on there, so if you want to add dates, you've got numbers in there as well.
Because not every alphabet has numbers, do they? And some punctuation and bits and bobs as well.
Yeah, there is. Some great punctuation. My favourite, these have to probably be the ones that I use the most, the adhesive pearls. They're all around the edges and I've used them to punctuate the dates as well.
That looks fantastic all the way around there.
Yeah, it really, really gives it that sort of wedding feel to this project, I think. And then the final things are, I'm in love with these bows because they are so sumptuous. They're really lovely satin.
Lovely, aren't they?
Beautiful designs that are on them, and there's also the one that's on the top of there I don't have in my hand here, but I love that really thick kind of gross grain style ribbon as well.
I like the big size as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
Makes them perfect not just for cards but for scrapbooking.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's walked you through all the projects that products that we've used to create the embellishments, and that's really how simple it is.
That was lovely. It's a beautiful project. Thank you so much for sharing. As we said, we'll be featuring all the instructions and all the sizes of things Becky's used on her project online at docrafts.com. So do pop over and have a little look. We'll also put on full instructions and some lovely photographs of the close-up so you can really see the pearlescent detail and so on. We'd really like to see what you've been up to too. So if you've been making a project, perhaps something is a gift or maybe a scrapbooking project, we'd really love to see them. So pop them in your members gallery at docrafts.com, and Becky and I could even pop over and leave you a comment. We could also perhaps feature it on a future episode of Do Crafts TV or even in Creativity magazine. Until next time, happy crafting.